Trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat, nostalgia-ween. When pumpkins fly and haunt your night,
I'm a cameo.
your little home turns green, your little place turns green.
This is bullshit.
This little fence now green. Every film, every show, every clock has something knows. And all it takes is one itty bitty mistake. Look out, they'll haunt you too. Trick or treat, trick or treat, trick or treat, nostalgia-ween. When ghosts come knocking at your door, badly written jokes and more, you better hope they won't be mean on nostalgia-ween.
Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic guy, remember? So you don't have to. And welcome back to Nostalgia-ween. We've talked about Nightmare Before Christmas a few times on this show, but never done a full review. Since over the years I've discovered this new thing called liking stuff, I decided this Nostalgia-ween is the perfect time to do it. Only a modest success when it came out in 1993, The Nightmare Before Christmas has exploded into one of the most popular icons associated with Halloween, and yes, even Christmas. Merchandise sells like mad, people love to dress up as the characters, even the Haunted Mansion is given a makeover in fall and winter to reflect the characters and story. It also started one of my favorite fads of stop-motion kids movies that are wonderfully more dark and twisted than most kids movies are. And they're given a free pass by parents because, well, they remember it being fun when The Nightmare Before Christmas did it. Based on Tim Burton's short story of the same name, it takes, honestly, a very complicated and abstract idea and makes it surprisingly simple to follow and enjoy. So what is it about this holiday film that becomes more and more popular where other holiday films seem to fade into the crowd? Well, we're finally gonna watch it from beginning to end to find out. This is Halloween, or is it Christmas? It's clearly Halloween. This is Tim Burton's The Nightmare Before Christmas. First off, let's address the biggest misconception. This is not a Tim Burton directed movie. Henry Selick, who would direct another stop-motion masterpiece with Coraline, is the man who called the shots, but the studio insisted Tim Burton's name had more of a draw, and seeing how his spiraled fingerprints are all over it, I think that's fair. It should also be pointed out that the opening narration is by Santa, played by Edward Ivory, but in the soundtrack, it's Patrick Stewart.
'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems.
'Twas a long time ago, longer now than it seems.
I like Stewart's fine, but it does go on a little too long, including a closing narration about Jack and Sally having skeleton babies.
With 4 or 5 skeleton children at hand playing strange little tunes in their xylophone band.
I don't know, the idea of them literally boning it is just not something I want to think of. We open in the land of Halloween Town with, I think we can all agree, the most memorable song in the movie.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween, 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 Halloween.
Though I always saw it as a warped version of the Home Alone theme.
This is Halloween, this is Halloween.
There's no denying, both this song and intro are amazing. When I saw this on the big screen, it blew my mind. The visuals were so creative and matched the music perfectly. There's so many things to admire, the creative camera angles, which were rarely seen in stop motion then, the fact that they didn't cut out the strings for the bats, which makes it feel more authentic. And I especially love how one of the random characters is just the devil. He's not the ruler, he's not even a major character, he's just one of the residents. This place is hardcore when the fucking devil is just a dude walking around town. We're introduced to the Pumpkin King Jack Skellington, played by Chris Elfman, we'll get to that in a bit, who just finished up scaring the real world for Halloween, but a rag doll named Sally, played by Catherine O'Hara, is being called back by her inventor, Dr. Finkelstein, played by William Hickey.
Come back here, you fool! Oh! Oh!
I didn't make you to beat my head, I made you to— wait. Jack can't help but feel tired doing the same thing every year and sings about his frustration.
Oh, there's an empty place in my bones.
So Jack's singing voice is composer and songwriter Danny Elfman, but his speaking voice is Chris Sarandon. And surprisingly, there's several conflicting reasons as to why. Elfman was always going to be the singing voice as he did demos for all the songs and everyone agreed he just sounded great as Jack. Some reports say Elfman didn't want to act as he was too busy with everything else. In fact, he wrote so many songs, writers kept adding characters and plot threads to work them in. Some even saying the film really should have been called Danny Elfman's The Nightmare Before Christmas. Other reports say his singing was loved, but his acting not as much. So they passed on him as an actor, possibly resulting in a split Burton and Elfman had for a short period of time. Both reasons are odd, as Elfman does act as other characters in the movie. Whatever the reason, both do a great job, matching each other's energy and passion perfectly.
Christmas time is buzzing in my skull.
Call a town meeting and I'll tell everyone all about it.
After he sings his woes, Sally finds she'd give her right arm to get her right arm.
I made you with my own hands.
You can make other creations.
Something a lot of people pick up is that the dialogue in this film is not quite like other Disney movies. Keep in mind, this is just around the time Aladdin came out, and animation in general was trying to hit both adults and children. This dialogue is not really trying to do that. It's trying to be simple in the hopes of being more timeless like the Rankin Bass specials. And it works, but it does throw a lot of people off. There's no pop cultural references, in-jokes, or hidden adult humor. It's a very basic what you hear is what you get, which sometimes results in lines that don't always sound the most natural.
Curiosity killed the cat, you know.
I know.
That was a normal thing we just said. But that's also part of the charm. For such a strange idea with strange-looking characters, it's easily digestible. Like this concept of trees holding different holidays sounds feasible after watching this, but imagine explaining it in a way that both adults and kids could follow easily. It's probably trickier than you think. Some of these concepts and ideas are so imaginative, a simpler way of telling them makes the most sense. Speaking of which, Jack is sucked into Christmas Town and is blown away by what he sees.
What's this? In here, they've got a little tree. How queer!
Well, we found the line every kid's gonna snicker at whenever they sing it.
Little cozy thing secure inside their dreamland.
And we found the out-of-context picture that'll get me snickering whenever I see it.
Ho, 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 ho.
After seeing the creepiest Santa shadow, Sally poisons her inventor again by sneaking Harry Potter classes into his soup.
Frog's breath will overpower any odor.
Wormswort.
After she tricks him into drinking it, and giving up just assuming a popular gif, if not get on that internet. Jack returns home and calls a town meeting to explain the strange land he discovered. Even death is invited. Between him and the devil, Christ, I expect to see Christ in the background next.
This is a thing called a present. The whole thing starts with a box.
No, that gift is from 2006. It's a dick in a box joke.
What a splendid idea! This Christmas sounds fun!
Though they all seem excited, they don't seem to get what makes Christmas so special. And neither does Jack, for that matter, who obsesses over what it's all about.
There's got to be a logical way to explain this Christmas thing.
Doesn't he know if you turn on even one Netflix Christmas rom-com, you'll be even more confused?
Interesting reaction. But what does it mean?
What does any of this have to do with Jesus? Sally goes to visit Jack, but first has to figure out how to get down from her tower. I give 5 more years until people call that problematic. She sends Jack a gift basket, of sorts, and has a vision that Christmas is going to be a disaster. Yeah, she's psychic now. On the one hand, I like that she isn't just a sourpuss, like something has to convince her that Christmas is gonna go wrong, but it comes right out of nowhere. It's vague exactly what it is, whether it's the universe giving her a sign or if she always had the power to predict the future, as it never happened before and doesn't happen later. I always thought it'd be cool if they gave a hint this was a thing, like maybe she used the ability to find the deadly nightshade, or later she looks at the flower and a heart appears, foreshadowing that Jack was about to approach her. But nope, this is it. She's just Walt from Lost, psychic when you need it because you need it.
Of course, I've been too close to see. The answer's right in front of me.
Jack finally figures Christmas out, sorta, when he discovers he can bring his own unique spin to it.
Albert, I could improve it too, and that's exactly what I'll do!
I'll start it in November. No, October. Hell, September's not doing anything, the lazy ass! Actually, with combining holidays, this film really was ahead of its time. way to chip in to bring his version of Christmas to the people. He calls on Lock, Shock, and Barrel, played by Paul Reubens, Catherine O'Hara, and Danny Elfman, who are given the assignment to kidnap Santa Claus. And I know I'm gonna sound like a dumbass, but I never put together that the masks to hide their faces look exactly like their faces. You ever notice Elfman's favorite lyric is La? By the way, I'm totally convinced this movie's PG rating is based entirely on this look. That's a look that did something dirty and is gonna do it again.
Bury him for 90 years, then see if he talks.
I love a kid's film where the feel-good song is the various ways to dispose of a body.
Chop him into bits. Mr. Rookie is sure to get his kicks.
I don't want to know how he gets his kicks after Santa's been chopped up, but I'll assume he gives this look. Sally tries to warn Jack what should have been warned to Kirk Cameron. His vision of Christmas is going to be a disaster.
It was about your Christmas. There was smoke and fire.
That's not my Christmas.
Mine's more plaguey. He doesn't listen to her, and everybody sings about how amazing their Christmas is going to be. These warped gifts still crack me up. I especially love how I think one of them is the Max Schreck logo from Batman Returns. Yeah, did this Burton property sell enough toys for you?
Won't they be impressed? I am a genius.
That's literally how Greg Proops talks before every taping of Whose Line. Just as Jack gets Christmas ready, Santa is abducted and brought to him. After he's taken away, Sally sees the scientist has literally made a new lady friend for himself.
We'll have conversations worth having.
Yeah, that part of my brain stopped me from peeing and caring. The kids give Santa to Oogie Boogie, played by Ken Page, who, fun fact, is the big-lipped alligator from All Dogs Go to Heaven. How does this guy get typecast as musical green monsters who sing before they eat people?
Because I'm a gambling boogeyman, although I don't play fair.
The Boogie song is a good change of pace, as most of the color in the movie is in Christmas Town. So it's pretty nice to get a scene that's still dark, but has bright, vibrant colors as well.
I'm going to do my stuff.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to do the best I can.
Okay, that's a different Christmas movie right there. Jack gets ready to head out as the literal Two-Faced Mayor, played by Glenn Shaddix, oversees the flight. Sally causes fog to block everyone's view, but as we saw before, Zero's nose can light up and lead the way. See, out of nowhere Sally's psychic subplot, the dog figured it out.
I sense there's something in the wind.
That's not making things better. I feel like most people agree that Sally's song is the weakest of the musical numbers, which is a shame because it's not really a bad song. It's just slow, sung a little awkward, and grinds the film to a halt. All the momentum of a few seconds ago is put on hold for Sally singing how we already know she feels. On the other hand, though, this is the closest we have to a love song, and again, there is something cool that's about how the person she loves will seemingly never love her back.
For I am not the one.
If there's an opportunity to creatively depress children, I'm kind of all for it. The song doesn't last long, though, and we're given some of the most entertaining stuff in the movie. Jack's terrifying Christmas presents. The only thing funnier than the gifts is Jack's blind optimism that everyone is loving them.
You're welcome, one and all.
If you survive, give me 5 stars on Yelp! Desperate to fix things, Sally tries to break in and free Santa.
What have we here? Unexplained leg is the best kind of leg. What? You tried to make a dupe out of me?
Don't you know the foot is all I require? Oogie captures them both. Meanwhile, the army locates Jack and shoots him down. Like a true politician, the mayor says he knew the bad idea he said was a good idea was a bad idea.
I knew this Christmas thing was a bad idea.
I'm gonna go check out Kwanzaa Land. Jack survives, though, and sings all about the misery he caused.
Why does nothing ever turn out like it should?
Like Wreck-It Ralph, I have to admire a movie where the message isn't follow your dreams, but rather cope. Bored with your life? Well, you could be dead. Little blessings, you piece of shit.
I am the Pumpkin King!
He announces he's back as the Pumpkin King, but realizes he has to save Santa in order to put things right.
What the?
Hello, Oogie.
How the hell'd you do that?
I mean, the doll maybe, but the red guy's like a Raiders of the Lost Ark ball.
This leads to, in all honesty, a pretty pointless climax.
Well, come on, Bone Man!
Again, if Oogie was built up as the villain earlier, maybe this could work, and even then that's a big maybe. I feel like this is a movie that doesn't really need a villain. But he's a guy introduced in the third act. There's not much of a rivalry between him and Jack, and like Sally's song, everything kind of comes to a halt for it. This just doesn't feel like a story where the lead dodges a villain's death traps. It's more of a comic book feel, where this had more of a fairy tale vibe. But again, it is creative and leads to a pretty fun death scene.
Look what you've done! Don't look at my dung beetles!
I'll admit Santa stomping out the last bug is pretty funny, but he has work to do as he restores Christmas back to normal and Jack returns home. Santa even brings a little bit of Christmas to Halloween. Again, as if that isn't being done.
Careful, my precious jewel.
Well, somebody got an idea watching season 1 of Loki. Jack and Sally finally confess their love for each other, and thank God they kiss far away, because I don't want to think of the mechanics of doll lips kissing skeleton teeth. And that was The Nightmare Before Christmas. I can't pretend it's absolutely flawless, but it's pretty close. It does take a certain mindset to enjoy it, certainly embracing simplicity more than complexity, but that doesn't mean it isn't astoundingly imaginative. I think it's particularly the visuals and concept that really makes it timeless, as anyone can watch this and follow what's going on even if there was no dialogue and be blown away by what they're looking at. The songs are also very refreshing, not just for how many there are, 11 in case you're wondering, at a time when most Disney films had half that, but they also move the story forward and help the characters express what they're feeling. It never feels like something that was written to also have a hit on the radio or anything. Even though you don't hear it on the radio though, people still hum these songs all the time and remember these characters. The main reason being they're very simple, but likable. Though I can't say it's for everyone, it's proven over the years that it is for a lot of people. And I can happily say I am definitely one of those in that twisted mix. I'm the Nostalgia Critic, and nostalgia-ween has just begun! Ow.
Chi è curioso va all'inferno, lo sai?
Sì, lo so.